policy. Before we begin, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. And make sure you follow me on my social media, y'all, so you're updated with anything that I post, I think. I don't know. We're going to go straight into today's video, y'all. Y'all, I saw clips of this on TikTok, and I was like, y'all, let me do a reaction. Let me see the full video and see what they're talking about. So we're going to watch Candace Owens, and she's on a podcast called Whatever Podcast. The Whatever Podcast, to me, I don't really watch it, but I see like clips of it. It just gave like, I don't know if y'all remember like Fresh and Fit. I think that's the Fresh and Fit, the two guys that were bringing women on. Like it's giving but very much that vibe. So I was kind of caught off guard just a little bit when they had Candace Owens. I said, wait, Candace, what are you doing here? You know that TikTok, Ariana, what are you doing here? It was giving very much like, what is she doing there type of vibe. Not that she can't, because at the end of the day, we're all human. No one's above anybody else. But I just would not expect her to be in that space. So with that being said, today they're pretty much speaking about religion. I think half the girls are like sex workers, so they talk about that and how it interludes with marriage and so forth. I'm gonna go ahead and get straight into it.
They are in a marriage, because at the very moment that you let someone else into your marriage, it's no longer a marriage.
No.
Yeah.
And these women, women
guys
have turned around and said, I will allow you to see a professional.
So they are not in a marriage. That's the point.
They're married.
As soon as you lend
some of
your
their
spouse
wives are
out,
like dying from cancer and this, that, and the other.
But that's
if I'm dying from cancer
and
and my
somebody
husband
sleeps
goes
with
to
somebody
sleep with
else,
somebody, I swear to God.
And their wives are the ones that come.
already going on.
One at a time, please.
Okay.
Go. Candace,
That's true. As soon as you
I just
let
would like to
someone
make
else
the
in your
point
marriage,
that
it's not a
at the
marriage
very
anymore.
moment that you loan your spouse out, especially if you're dying of cancer, so that they can get off, you're no longer in a marriage. So it's just a farce. It's like it's a comical. You're pretending for people that you're in a marriage, that you're in a loving relationship. That's not what a marriage is. So to say that I help marriages, no, you help destroy marriages, and they can go out and say that we're still married because what we've done is we've essentially said, you take care of this aspect of the marriage. It's like saying you raise the kids, you have sex with him. This isn't a marriage. It's the whole thing is fake, right?
What do you think that they should do? What do you think that
they should work on their marriage together. The union between a husband and a wife should work on their marriage together to fix it. You don't bring out an outside person to sleep with your husband or your wife.
But if she's saying, I'm not down for sex,
then she might be down for a divorce.
I want to outsource the sex.
I want to die from
Wait, hold on. Because number one, she's 100% correct. Because a marriage is a covenant that is an oath under God. You are saying through sickness and health, through rich and through poor, through ups and downs, whatever it may be, that is your person, and you are committed to that person until death do you part. That is what a marriage is. So when you bring other people into a marriage, that's not a marriage no more. Why are you married at that point? If you want to sleep around, like this whole concept, like let me play, because what?
And she wanted him, and she allowed him to do that because he needed to get off some way or shape.
While she was dying of cancer, one of the last things on her mind was,
this is a real life. This is a real life.
This
is a real life. Yeah, this was a real. I'm asking you.
And is that what he told you?
This, yeah. So
that his wife, that's dying of cancer, wanted him to come have sex with you.
Not with me. This is. From what I've heard, yes.
Somebody told you that there's that as a dying wish. My dying
so
wife
how would
said,
you
please
want
go
that?
have sex with a prostitute.
I saw it on TikTok.
I'm just going to call bullshit on that altogether.
No,
I just don't
because
think
it does
when you're
happen.
dying of cancer,
it happens.
Going through leukemia.
People will literally bring their guys here.
Please bring them on the podcast.
I just want to say that
absurd scenario I've ever heard in my life.
There's
a lot of crazy shit.
There's
has been
marriage
asked for
counseling where they can take you through sex therapy, where you don't.
Let's say what she's saying is true, just for argument's sakes. If you can put yourself in a position to now give your mate up for them to get off because you are in a health, like you are sick and can't like engage, whatever the case may be, your marriage has now broken, because the oath that the commitment y'all have made for each other, between each other, was through sickness and in health. Stuff like that will happen, but you have to go back to your vows to keep that marriage afloat. You can't just say, oh man, she's sick, she can't have sex. Hey, okay, babe, you can go have sex with her since I can't have sex. Like, what? That's not what a marriage is. And a marriage is not just going to come down to just like the sex. Like, oh my goodness.
Sleep with somebody else. If it's
Too
about
early
a
for
woman not
this.
wanting to have sex anymore, what's the underlying reason? Are her hormones messed up so she's not wanting to be sexually active? Is there not enough foreplay when they're having sex? Like, there's other avenues you can take for
there's
sex
like
therapy.
normal couples counselors.
Yes.
Real
not
couples
sexy.
counseling,
Like regular.
where you try to solve the problem and you
Yeah.
release it, and you don't just source it out to a prostitute.
Go ahead.
The cancer thing is crazy.
It's just the most absurd.
The cancer thing is
He lied.
crazy.
He lied.
But
Yeah, I would say he
outside of
probably
that,
lied.
I don't think that it's up to any of us what constitutes a marriage because every relationship is different.
Well,
So
the
if
Bible.
if a husband, okay, but
These words
if you're
have
not,
meaning.
Not,
But not
everyone is
everybody is-
religious.
not
Well,
everybody
wait, hold on. Is
Like
that a
saying,
cross
It
necklace?
doesn't constitute,
Yeah,
like, what do you,
Wait,
yeah.
okay, really quick.
Not everybody's
Since
religious.
we're talking about religion really quick. Okay, you have a cross necklace, but then your shirt says "Made in Hell."
Yes, it does.
What? You're wearing a cross necklace, the cross Jesus died for our sins for, and you're wearing a shirt that says made in hell. It's giving very much walking contradiction. What? She can't be serious.
I'm a little confused.
Ironic,
Can you?
I mean,
I'm a little confused.
the stone is red, so it matched, you know.
Come on now.
Why are you wearing a cross
Are
on
you
your
color
neck?
coordinating with your necklace?
Because I don't see a cross as religious, so
Okay,
I
just
Wait.
like you
necklace
don't
was
see a
cute.
marriage as religious. So these
I don't
words
think that a
they don't
marriage-
have meaning. This is why it's like we're at a stage where people are like, "What is a woman?" Because they just go, "Well, we're going to call it a marriage, but we're going to sleep with other people. We're going to bring in prostitutes. We're going to outsource raising the kids, or we're never going to have kids." You're calling it a family. It's not a family, and this is what it is. The words have no meaning, right? I'm wearing the cross. Why? I don't know. I don't think of it as religious. Okay, well, Jesus Christ died on the cross.
you think that.
That's what you think.
Wait.
It's
That's
been
what you
proven.
think.
So why
It's
are
been
you wearing the
proven.
What is going on? Wait. You think that? Why are you wearing it then? Why are you wearing? That's like somebody wearing. Let me. Oh my God.
Sex
Because I think it's
worker
cute.
is a
You
I
think
more
that the design is cute.
Yeah.
better
Wait,
term.
really
I
quick.
grew up
Hold on.
Catholic. I was religious, and I'm not
Prostitution
anymore. I
being
don't have to
held-
believe in what you believe, and I can
That's not
say
the
that
issue. You
if
don't
I
have
didn't
to
say
be-
you had to believe. I asked you a question.
But
I
you're
said, "Why are
telling
you
me,
wearing the cross?"
Okay, and you're saying that the religious aspect of marriage is the only thing that matters. It's not, because people don't follow what you believe.
Okay, I asked you why you're wearing the cross, and you said because you thought it was cute.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
glad
do.
we got an answer. She's wearing the cross around her neck because she thinks it's cute.
I do.
Would
I'm
you
not religious.
also wear like a Star of David?
It's cute.
Well,
Like
because
if it was cute, would you wear
Well,
it?
okay, well,
I
I
just
don't know
mean like
where we're going-
I'm
where this is
asking that
going
because
here.
I wonder.
Well,
like
I
my
have-
guess is that you would think
That's
that
a good question.
maybe you wouldn't wear a Star of David because you're like, oh, this is maybe like disrespectful to people who are.
Are you making the
Jewish.
argument? Maybe. I mean.
No, I'm just.
The secular.
It's a very
here,
good question.
I'm just saying.
Devil's advocate here. Secular argument. Someone might just say that the cross is just maybe it's more aesthetically pleasing even for an atheist. I don't.
Boy, bye. No, it's like why? No, boy, bye. That the girl with the blue shirt. That's a really good question, because that's like somebody. Let's say I wanted to wear a shirt that had a KKK flag because I just like how the flag looks, but I'm not part of the KKK. You see how dumb that sounds out loud? Oh, I like the shirt matches my shoes. Like I'm not part of it, but do y'all see how dumb that sounds? So you're wearing a cross, but you don't believe in Jesus Christ. Make it make sense. You're literally a walking contradiction. You have a shirt that says made in hell, but wearing a cross that Jesus died on for us because it's cute.
Sure,
I
but
don't know,
liberals
okay,
are all about
look.
like having
Would you wear
respect
like a
and
yarmulke 'cause
tolerance.
it's,
So
like,
I'm
cute?
just like wondering if you
I'm
think
asking
it's.
if would you wear a yarmulke?
I think those are very
Oh,
different
are you talking
things.
like
Why is the
blasphemy?
I'm
cross
saying-
different
I'm
from the
s- I'm-
yarmulke?
I'm just.
I mean, I was
asking-
raised Catholic, and
saying that
that's
it's
just
Would
not
you
something
wear
that
a
I believe
yarmulke if
anymore.
you thought it was cute?
No, I wouldn't wear. I mean, a yarmulke is completely different than
No,
a cross
it's-
that's been
it's
adapted
not.
into
They're
different. You can
symbols
buy a
of,
cross
like, a
necklace anywhere.
There's symbols of a
Okay,
religious.
the argument of why it's different basically would come down to like how Catholicism has been practiced versus Judaism, in the sense that like Catholics did use the cross symbol, tried to emplace it like in indigenous populations, tried to spread it as much as possible, and that's why in modern day a lot of people think that's like more okay, because it was meant to be popularized. It was meant to be a symbol that the masses should look up to and should see in general, versus Jewish symbols.
Okay.
I would argue didn't go through that.
I think we're kind of derailing a little bit.
Yeah.
You wanted to come in. Go
Yes.
ahead.
So back to the interesting brothel stories. I wanted to say we do actually have men coming in with their parents. Yeah, this actually
their
happened.
wives.
Wait.
So I had a time where a guy came in with both his parents all the way from England to come to the Mustang Ranch because he wanted to lose his virginity.
Wait, is this
And
really
his
where we left
parents-
off? I'm just not following.
And his parents
the relation to our
paid
previous.
for him to have sex with legal prostitutes.
Hurrah!
I want your stance on that because
And-
what's your stance on that?
Haram.
And if I
This
may,
country's in
And
spiritual
wait,
warfare.
can I just say
like,
that
we-
for
I would
me,
never
I
actually
enjoyed
write
the
a check
experience.
for my
Sex
child to lose
workers,
their
not
virginity. That's
prostitutes.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait,
Well,
I'm
she
sorry.
said,
Wait,
she
wait,
said
wait.
prostitute.
Yeah, it's because
Okay.
they keep.
Wait,
but
did
it's
I?
because they keep.
Yeah,
Wait,
but
just-
Yeah, you
usually
said prostitute
sex
at the beginning of the
worker,
show.
prostitutes a
Is
little
it
bit more
question? Is it
demeaning.
like a? Is
Well,
it,
she said that at the
is it
beginning of the show.
offensive?
Legal
Yeah.
prostitute.
She said legal prostitute.
Yeah.
Is I don't want to offend anybody. Is prostitute like a?
It's old school. It's still on the books, like on Nevada's books. But like the
what's the
hipper
desire?
way to say it is sex worker.
But here's the
these
thing
days.
with sex workers.
Sex working
Personally,
is an
That can-
umbrella.
Me, you can call me a legal prostitute.
Yeah, she
I got
said
you.
it. Cool.
People want
But
to be fake deep so
The
bad.
thing with the term sex worker
Like,
is that is such a broad.
prostitute's
It
prostitute.
includes strippers.
It's
it
only
includes
negative
women who
if
take
you project it
lingerie
as
photos
negative.
who
Like, I
aren't
disagree with that,
naked.
obviously, but I understand the world
Wait,
we
question.
live in.
Steward is
People have
stewardess
no
okay?
choice,
Because
but-
you're a flight attendant, so I'm just curious.
It's not the term that we
Would you be
prefer.
offended if someone referred to you as a stewardess?
No,
You get any older?
older people do all the time.
Doesn't bother you?
No.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Just want to make sure since we're.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not a big deal.
Earlier it was like talked about like how, you know, sleeping or letting your husband or wife sleep with someone else is like irresponsible or it's not a marriage anymore. Like, I'd be kind of curious of what you believe a responsible marriage is like. Or I understand that
Yeah,
you have
is
a
it
religious view
irresponsible
on
marriage?
marriage, but when I think about a marriage, I think like I could see somebody saying they're married if it's like completely romantic, like you're not allowed to do romance with anyone else. Like, basically, what does a responsible marriage mean to you?
Marriage is not
They
just
have
a
to think.
contract. Like
A marriage, if that was the case, like, oh yeah, we could go sleep with other people, then don't get married. Why do you think you can't legally get married to more than one person in a majority of these states? Because that's not a marriage. Be for real. Like, what is going on? Like, I don't get it. Like, if you want to, I feel like at the end of the day, if you want to sleep around, if you want to have multiple partners, do as you please, but that's not a marriage. Don't try to change what a marriage is. A marriage is between two people, a man and a woman.
It wasn't just like the government came up with a contract for people to get married. You know, the history of marriage, you can't separate that from the church. The problem is people are trying to make things cool and trying to update and make them modern. And now people are saying you can have a polygamous marriage and you can bring in other people on the outside of a marriage. What's the point of getting married? Literally, I'd like to ask the question. If you think that you can, if you want to marry somebody and then outsource the sex, you know, outsource the responsibility, outsource what the labor of love is actually supposed to be about, why not just stay single?
Thank you.
So you wouldn't do a threesome with your husband?
Absolutely not, because he's my husband.
This girl.
Do you
Did you
believe?
even have to ask that to get the
Well,
answer?
I mean, there's
Absolutely
married
not.
couples that want to have threesomes, and
you know
some
what
of
happens?
these ladies are
you
bi-curious.
should jump into those Reddit threads because every single time
you
that
wanna do
marriage
that, do that
ends in
before you get
divorce.
married.
There's so many
Like,
Reddit threads.
that's
No,
your
they don't.
business.
And a lot of them
I have
actually do
regulars
really
of
well
over 5
too.
years.
Okay.
And
There's
they're
some that
not
do really
divorced.
Do you
well.
believe
Well,
atheists
I think
can
this
get-
is a perfect example of when you let your flesh guide you. Like all these experiments, wanting to have sex with more than one person, this, that, and the third, being married with multiple people, that is you fulfilling the desires of your flesh. Because that is not the intention. Like, why? I don't understand who even thinks that that's even logic, though. Like, honestly speaking, y'all, honestly speaking, where is that logic behind getting married if you want to have multiple partners? There's no logic behind that. I don't care how you want to flip it, how you want to look at it. There's no logic behind that. Just stay single or stay in a open relationship. Don't call that a marriage. That's not a marriage.
Married?
I think atheists get married because they want a tax break. I don't see the point in an atheist getting married. Why don't you just live with your partner, okay? Whoever it is that you're dating, you're at the stage you said, I don't know if you live with your boyfriend or whatever it is. Why take the next leap? if you're wearing crosses for fun and, you know,
I mean, if you're actually asking the question, I mean, because then I would just be pledging the fact that I would want to be with them forever.
But you can just be with them forever. So what is it that you crave that when you want to get married? What's that next step for you? What does it mean? What's the difference between dating and marriage?
Because it's a commitment.
Is dating not a commitment?
It's a commitment, but it's saying a next step. It's solidifying it.
Okay, solidifying what? Because
that's where she got her. Candace got her, like, ate her up on this, because you have to realize, because they know marriage is deeper than that. Marriage is deeper than a commitment. A marriage is a covenant. But she's trying to avoid by saying, oh, it's just a deeper connection, it's a deeper commitment. Sis, you know a marriage is deeper than that. It's deeper than a commitment.
Solidifying a bond between two people that love each other.
Okay, but what is solidified? If you can then jump into that next commitment, which is the exact same as dating, and you can sleep with other people and you can put topless photos on the internet, what are you getting married for? Pictures on Instagrams to say you did it?
I mean, I'm not sleeping with other people.
What's the difference for you between dating and marriage?
I just told you, it's a bond between two people. You're solidifying that by law. You're literally making it known. I want to be with this person forever. It isn't just a simple breakup. Oh, I can go and do whatever the fuck I want and leave. It's a partnership. It's a bond. It's forever.
But there's no difference between dating and marriage. There is other than the idea in your head that it's a bond, because you're saying also.
But it's not an idea in my head. It's on paper.
Oh, okay, it's the paper. That was.
But it's not but I'm saying it's not a tax break. It's a legal thing.
And I think
I'm
for people
connecting
that are
to somebody for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Well, I think for people that think about marriage and don't think about a cross as something funsy to wear, it's not a piece of paper. You know, it is a union between a man and a woman, a sacred union that should be protected from external forces. Definitely not something that you open up. How I would feel disgusting if my husband ever came to me and said, I want you to sleep with another man or sleep with another woman so that I can fill my sexual fetish. I mean, it's an utter perversion of what it means to be married, and it will lead to divorces. People that have this perspective will, and I'm not saying that if you don't do it, you won't get divorced 100%, but I do want to say that there is probably a reason that a lot of sex workers struggle to find people that want to marry them.
Well, can I say a lot of the perversion that comes if you are not going to be acceptant with your partner, if he comes to you and is like, hey, I really like getting pegged, I want you to peg me, and you're like, ew, that's so disgusting, like I would never do that. You want me to eat your ass? I would never do that. Well then, okay, what are you gonna do? Divorce him? Or what are you
asking? There are people struggling to pay their bills. There are people, gas prices are high. People are struggling to pay their student debt, and this is the this is the topic of conversation. Really? Where is this? I
do. Realistically, I'm asking you I'm asking. Hold on, I want to know, what are you going to do? That's your husband. He's like, hey, babe.
I think one of the things about marriage that's really beautiful is I know what my husband, before we got married, I think I know who he is.
But things change, and maybe he wants to start exploring.
He wants to start doing what?
He wants to start exploring, and he's like, oh my gosh, maybe I do want you to like eat my ass, and I kind of want you to peg me. Like I kind of want anal penetration from you because you're my wife and you're so beautiful and hot. And we're married and we have
kids. Things like that happen within a relationship and like during the marriage, that's where you need to set your boundaries, because like what is the fact that she even came up with that scenario is crazy. Let's say my husband hypothetically came to me with that. And that's like my boundaries, like this mouth thing going to, like nothing going over there from my end type of vibe. That's a boundary he has to respect. And also you have to ask yourself, where is that curiosity coming from though? Because I think this is where people don't talk about when we have so much, when everything is so highly sexualized, when it comes to people watching so much pornography, people having these fantasies, people wondering in thoughts and like having these like scenarios made up in their head. Like you have to remember you're in reality. So it's like, where is all that stemming from? I think that's kind of like a bigger issue. I don't think the next step is to take him to a prostitute who's going to do it for him or satisfy those needs for him. I think, yeah.
Together, and I'm feeling a little bit kinky, and I with you, since we have this special marriage and bond, how would you feel if we could just try this out just this one time, babe, please?
I think it would probably indicate to me that my husband was involved in some perverse world, whether it was through pornography, that something else was happening on the side, because these aren't normal things that people just think of when they wake up.
So what's your next
I'd
move?
really like a strap-on dildo.
Okay, right.
Well,
so what's your next
also,
move?
What's the ultimatum? He's going to divorce me if I don't peg him?
So what's your next move?
Crazy. I would think that individual would probably need therapy and not the kind that you give.
Okay. And but you're gonna stay with
this
person?
You don't immediately divorce.
Yeah, I would stay
Marriage
with him.
is about working through issues and working through problems.
Thank
you don't
you.
immediately
Like,
divorce them. And this gets back to what she was saying about if your husband, if suddenly a woman doesn't want to have sex,
a marriage is a form of
relationship,
but a marriage is, like I said before, a covenant. It's sacred. So you work through stuff like that. You don't just be like, oh, he wants to do something that I'm not willing to do. Deuces. Like, it's not like that. Like, you got to work through that. You don't just send him to a prostitute to, like,
I would hope that my husband wouldn't instantly divorce me, but I would hope that they would take
some guys are terrified of that, and some guys don't even feel like they can open up to their wives about that
Sounds
stuff.
like they need therapy.
They
then.
need
If
therapy.
can't open up to his wife.
Yeah, I know.
You got to work on your marriage.
But the thing is that they'll come to us talking to us about that. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
and I think that's unhealthy. And I think that, the fact that sex workers exist as this, what you believe to be a solution, when in fact that's a detriment, because you're getting in the way of the wife and the husband being able to communicate. And so I would much rather my husband go, if there was an issue and your wife's not having sex, I'd rather him go talk to a priest. I'd rather him go talk to another male. When males sit down and talk about, hey man, you should talk to her about this. I'd rather him,
what man nowadays
let me
is
finish
gonna
my
do
statement.
that?
I'd rather him, what do you mean? Bros talking to each other about things? That's a normal, I'd
Especially
rather
about
if I have
sex,
an
I
issue
feel
in
like
my,
that's
it's pretty normal. I'd rather go talk to my sisters about things that are going on in my marriage. There's a lot of steps you can take before you talk to a prostitute about your marriage. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I live in such a crazy.
Well, I'm saying what man is willing to do that?
Turn on a Taylor Swift song, cry a little bit in my
room.
room. I don't know. There's a lot. I would turn to Taylor Swift before I would go to a prostitute about my marriage.
I know, but you're not a male, so I'm just saying, like,
men can talk to other. What are you talking about? There's all of these podcast of men talking to men and being inspirational and talking about porn addiction and talking about the things that are corrupting men's minds. That's out there.
Okay,
and those are I would much rather my husband listen to those men,
right,
and look for guidance, whether it's in the church, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's a spiritual leader, than to turn to a prostitute in a brothel.
I hear you.
So there's a lot of steps that you can take from we're having an issue in our marriage to my husband's at a brothel laying next to a prostitute talking about issues in my marriage.
I think actually, let me just step in really quick. I do think, though, I would like to redirect the conversation, because I do think it's probably a very small portion of people who are married are seeking to bring in a prostitute for the husband. It just seems like such a small kind of, I don't know. What's up, really quick?
Statistically, married men are actually the highest number of clientele for prostitutes.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying, please listen for me. I'm literally telling you guys, males come to us and say all this stuff, which is like, they're first scared of you guys because how you might react. Two, they feel like they can't be honest and open with you guys. That's why they
But you got to ask yourself, are these men in situations, this is not to minimize the feelings of men in relationships, but are they coming to you because you're easily accessible, and because do they feel like they're not being heard by their wife because the wife is setting boundaries, because the wife is not putting up with certain BS? Like, you have to look at the whole context of it. Like, you say, yeah, men come to me, they married men, they were easily to talk to, this and that, because you're easily accessible as well. Like, they're paying you to go to you, if that makes sense. And then also, I wanted to say, I don't like the setup. Like, I don't like the setup, I just feel like there's too many pieces that aren't bringing substance to the conversation. I just think it's CANDACE and the girl with the orange dress and the girl that's wearing the cross but sees no value in the cross. I think those are the only three people that are actually bringing, like, not necessarily substance, but like bringing in something in the conversation so that they can go back and forth. I feel like everybody else, and the blue dress didn't have a lot of time to speak, but when she did, that question that she asked was really good. But everyone else, it's like you're holding up space. Like, I feel like he should have put in different, like, backgrounds, different people to engage in this conversation, because now it's like
adult and coming to places like
just
that.
so you guys know, that statistic doesn't mean that the majority of married men go to prostitutes. So
I
if you
didn't say that.
No, I know. I'm just letting her know because she said like yes, like it was if it was a debunk.
No,
and I think what
no,
he's
no,
saying
no,
is that
no.
the majority
Oh,
of married
nice,
men don't
yeah.
turn
I'm just saying, like,
to prostitutes.
a
So
lot-
there
we
might be a
get a lot
small
of married men is
contingent,
what I'm
and they
saying,
might be majority
right?
married.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay.
I think
get
that's a
everything.
good
But-
reason to have, I guess, to on the point of like something was brought up earlier about like what is like a responsible marriage to you. So part of being a good partner as like a wife or a girlfriend to whoever you're with is making them feel comfortable telling you anything, especially if it's something that they think is serious enough to consider leaving like their relationship with you for. Like if it's serious enough that they would consider divorcing you if they can't explore the sexual fantasy or anything like that. I think that's just a part of being good on the I agree with what you're saying here, that they that these men don't feel comfortable that they could tell their wives, and I guess that's just a part of
I feel like that's an
being, not that
excuse.
it's justifiable,
Like
that
you feel
as a wife,
comfortable
you
enough
should
to
give in
marry the
to
woman,
any
but you don't feel
sexual
comfortable
fetish
your
your partner brings to you.
wife and
It's
tell
whatever
her
you're
problems?
comfortable with and wherever your boundaries are. But I guess that's a part of that continuous conversation with them, so that they always feel comfortable bringing up anything to you as a
Right.
friend, as like a confidant, and knowing they're not going to be judged,
Right.
but that they'll be a partner with you and
I
figuring
do
out
have
what
to.
do
I
about
do
it.
have to move on. So we have a couple chats here I want to try to get through.
Okay. Y'all, that's the end of this clip. It speaks for itself. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. People who even try to defend the arguments of the sex workers, you're part of the problem. I'm being so serious. You're part of the problem. Because this is like, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Like, let me know. Because there's just no way someone could just convince me otherwise. Number one, that a marriage can have more than two people in it. Like, are you okay? A marriage is not that hard to understand. It's just a man and a woman building a covenant under God. Taking an oath, a lifetime oath. It's sacred. So when you bring other people in it, too many pieces. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you're notified whenever I post a new video. Follow me on my social media. And remember, this is Udoak, connecting people with policy. God bless y'all. I love y'all. Deuces.